Remember when Sunday morning streets were empty because everyone was in church? In 1955, 75% of Americans filled pews every single Sunday. Today, most churches struggle to fill even the front rows, and entire congregations have vanished. But that's not even the loneliest part. Wait until you hear what disappeared along with those Sunday morning crowds. Saturday night, 1955. Across America, mothers pressed Sunday dresses and fathers polished shoes. Children's hair was washed, Sunday school lessons reviewed, offerings placed in special envelopes. The preparation was ritual, Sunday was coming, and Sunday meant church. No debates, no negotiations, no excuses except severe illness. The alarm clock was barely needed. Internal rhythms woke families early Sunday morning. Breakfast was special but quick. Church started at 9:30 sharp, and being late was unthinkable. Fathers adjusted ties while mothers made sure children looked presentable. The walk to church became a neighborhood parade. Families emerged from houses in their finest clothes, converging on sidewalks, greeting each other with genuine warmth. Morning, neighbor. Beautiful day for worship. Everyone knew everyone, and everyone was heading the same direction. The church bells began at 9:15, calling stragglers. By 9:25, pews were filling fast. But here's what made church the center of everything. Churches anchored neighborhoods. The Methodist Church 2 blocks east, Baptist Church 3 blocks south, Catholic Church on Main Street, Lutheran Church near the school. Every family had their denomination, their pew, their place. Walking distance meant children could attend youth groups, mothers could join women's circles, fathers could serve on boards, all without complicated transportation. Multiple services packed the sanctuary. Early service at 8 o'clock for farmers and shift workers, main service at 9:30 for families, late service at 11 o'clock for those who needed extra sleep. Each service was full, requiring ushers to find seats for latecomers. Sunday school classrooms burst with children sorted by age, nursery for babies, classes for every grade, youth groups for teenagers. Adult classes discussed scripture, life application, community concerns. Everyone had a place. The pastor knew every name, every story, every struggle. He'd baptized the babies, confirmed the youth, married the couples, buried the grandparents. 30 years in one pulpit wasn't unusual. It was expected. The social fabric wove through those church walls. After service, nobody rushed home. Coffee hour in the fellowship hall meant real connection, not polite 5-minute conversations, but deep discussions about life, family, faith. Problems got solved over coffee and homemade cookies. Jim's looking for work. My brother-in-law's hiring at the plant. Mary's sick with that new baby. I'll organize meal delivery. Church committees weren't just bureaucracy. They were community in action. The building committee included the town's carpenter, electrician, and plumber. The education committee had the school principal and best teachers. The mission committee knew every family in need. Wednesday night prayer meetings drew crowds, not from obligation, but from desire for midweek spiritual refreshment and community connection. Potluck dinners meant tables groaning with casseroles, pies made from scratch, recipes passed between pews. Church discipline mattered. Members held each other accountable, gently but firmly. Missing too many Sundays triggered visits. Known sins got addressed. Reconciliation was expected. Then, something started shifting. Fast forward to today. Sunday morning streets bustle with regular traffic. Starbucks is packed. Youth sports tournaments dominate weekends. Big box stores open early for sales. Church? Maybe 20% of Americans attend regularly. And regularly now means twice monthly, not weekly. Those still attending drive past 6 empty churches to reach the one still surviving. Congregations merged repeatedly as attendance plummeted. The Methodist and Presbyterian churches combined, then absorbed the Lutherans, finally selling all buildings but one. The remaining churches struggle with massive buildings and tiny congregations. Sanctuaries built for 300 hold 30. Heating bills exceed offerings. Deferred maintenance creates eyesores. Paint peels, roofs leak, steps crumble. Sunday best disappeared entirely. Those attending wear whatever, jeans, shorts, flip-flops. Some churches encouraged casual dress to seem welcoming, but it marked deeper casualness about sacred things. The virtual church explosion changed everything. I watched church online became the excuse for never attending. Pajama-clad viewers half-watch services while making breakfast, checking phones, doing laundry. The preacher becomes background noise competing with life's distractions. No accountability, no community, no participation, just consumption. Even those physically attending barely engage. They arrive late, leave early, avoid eye contact. Coffee hour died. People grab and go like church is McDonald's. Nobody knows names. Visitors go ungreeted. Members become strangers. Pastors last 2 years average before burning out or moving on. How can they shepherd strangers? How can they build community among consumers? Megachurches promised solutions but delivered entertainment. Fog machines, light shows, professional bands, celebrity pastors, everything except genuine connection. Children vanished first. Sunday school classrooms converted to storage, youth groups disbanded, children's choirs silenced, parents prioritized travel sports over spiritual formation. Soccer is her passion. Baseball teaches teamwork. Church can't compete with tournaments every weekend. Those few children brought to church find no peers. Elderly congregations mean no youth programs. Kids fidget through adult services, learning church is boring, irrelevant, dying. They won't return as adults. Why would they? Church offered them nothing but memories of discomfort and disconnection. Young families trying churches find unwelcome environments. No changing tables, no cry rooms, disapproving looks when babies fuss. Clear message: you don't belong here anymore. The community support network collapsed. When tragedy strikes, churches once mobilized instantly. House fires triggered rebuilding crews. Illness brought meal trains. Death meant the entire congregation surrounding the grieving. Today's remnant churches can barely support themselves, much less others. That network of connections, who needs work, who's hiring, who's struggling, who can help, evaporated. Churches became clubs for the aging faithful rather than community centers for all. Wednesday night prayer meetings, extinct, potluck dinners, too much work for too few people, building maintenance, hired out if affordable, neglected if not. Committee meetings attract the same 5 exhausted volunteers trying to keep doors open. Nobody has energy for actual ministry. The ripple effects touch everything. Businesses that stayed closed on Sundays now operate 24/7. Workers who once had guaranteed family day now scramble for hours whenever offered. The rhythm of work and rest, sacred and secular, community and commerce, broken. Social capital built through church connections vanished. People don't know neighbors, can't find reliable help, lack trusted networks. Isolation increases, depression rises, communities fragment, shared moral frameworks disappeared. Without weekly reinforcement of common values, society splinters into individual preferences. What's right becomes what's right for me. Accountability becomes judgment, standards become suggestions, charitable giving plummeted, churches drove most community charity, food banks, clothing drives, emergency assistance. As churches died, so did organized compassion. Government programs can't replace voluntary generosity. Some churches try adapting, contemporary services with drums and guitars, shortened sermons for modern attention spans, small groups meeting in homes, online giving for convenience, marketing campaigns, rebranding, strategic planning. But these are bandages on mortal wounds. The fundamental problem isn't style, it's substance. People don't see the point anymore. Why get dressed, drive somewhere, sit with strangers, listen to ancient stories? What does church offer that Netflix doesn't? Community? They have social media, inspiration, they have TED Talks, music, they have Spotify. The unique offering of church, genuine spiritual community, accountability, transformation, transcendence, can't be marketed because it requires something modern people resist: commitment, presence, participation, submission to something bigger than themselves. What we really lost when Pews emptied. We lost weekly moral recalibration, regular reminders of eternal perspectives, ethical standards, spiritual priorities. Now we drift without anchors. We lost intergenerational connection. Churches were the only places where all ages mingled naturally. Now generations segregate completely. We lost community gathering space. Churches hosted everything: scouts, voting, meetings, celebrations. Now communities lack neutral, welcoming venues. We lost crisis support networks. Church members showed up with casseroles and carpentry skills. Now we rely on GoFundMe and government programs. We lost accountability structures. Fellow members who noticed absence, addressed problems, encouraged growth. Now, we hide struggles behind social media facades. Most profoundly, we lost shared sacred experience, hundreds of voices singing together, corporate prayers lifting community needs, collective silence in holy moments. The question facing American communities: can church as community anchor survive in modern America? Some congregations thrive by becoming entertainment centers. Others survive by becoming social clubs. But churches that insist on being churches, places of worship, transformation, accountability, and service, struggle everywhere. Young, spiritual but not religious adults might sample churches but won't commit. Why submit to institutional authority when you can craft personal spirituality? Older faithful members die without replacement. Buildings crumble. Denominations merge or dissolve. The infrastructure supporting American community life for centuries collapses in one generation. Here's what those empty pews really mean. They mean Sunday mornings lost their sacred distinction. Every day became the same: commercial, busy, disconnected. They mean communities lost their gathering places. Where do neighbors naturally encounter each other now? Nowhere. They mean moral formation happens through screens instead of relationships. Children learn values from influencers, not elders. They mean crisis finds us alone. No congregation surrounds us with practical love when life breaks. They mean we're trying to build community without the institution that created it. All our modern substitutes, social media, shopping, entertainment, provide connections appearance without its reality. Those 1955 church bells calling entire towns to worship called them to more than religious service. They called them to community, accountability, service, and shared meaning. The bells still ring in the few churches remaining, but nobody comes. We're too busy, too tired, too convinced we don't need what church offered. Sunday best hangs unworn in closets. Pews gather dust. Stained glass windows illuminate empty spaces. And somewhere, an elderly member sits alone in a vast sanctuary, remembering when these walls held everyone she knew, when Sunday morning meant something sacred, when church was the heartbeat of community life. She prays for revival, but knows the truth. You can't revive what a culture no longer understands or values. The empty pews aren't just missing people. They're monuments to missing community, accountability, and shared sacred purpose. Sunday morning still comes, but nobody notices anymore. The streets stay busy, the stores stay open, and the church bells ring for a town that forgot how to gather, how to worship, and how to be truly human together.